Hi guys, I am Java here. Welcome back to Python Tech Learning channel. Today we are going to learn on how quickly we can deploy a Python application or specifically a Streamlit application on Heroku Cloud Services in less than 5 to 10 minutes of your time. Okay, the Heroku Cloud Services, as we can see that it's a cloud platform where we can deploy different programming language applications. Especially you can see that it supports Java, Python, Scala, Node.js and many other applications. But today we will be concentrating on Python applications. Okay, first let's see the pricing aspect. Now the wide variety of range of pricing options are available from Echo to advanced enterprise level. Now for this application, for this demo, I have taken the basic plan where I need to pay around $7 per month. This is very lowest. We can offer $7 per month if we are using it. Once the deploy after this demo, I will just close this account. So only $7 will be used. Okay, so now we need to have an Heroku account first. For that we need to create all the Heroku account by giving the first name, last name, basic information basically. Here the important is the email which does not have the account already. So I am giving all the basic details and will be creating an Heroku account first here. Okay, let's type my email. Okay, let's enter Streamlit plan, give some descriptions. Okay, the role we always take as a student or other, we can choose. Here I choose the student just because I'm teaching this one, and here specifically we need to select the programming language Python. Once it is submitted, an email will be received to your registered email, and we need to reset the password, activate the account and reset the password whatever we want. Okay, so now I am giving some password. Let's say something ABC8123 or any password you can set which is as per the standard one, and once the password is set we are ready to use the account. Before using the account we need to add the billing information that anyway you will be seeing it. Let's log in and see. This is just we need to default accept it. Do not click on the detail options, and this is the basic dashboard what we can see after immediate registration of the Heroku account. Okay, now for creating or deploying any application on this, here you can see the add billing information which I have added already. So the main another important aspect is we must have a Git repository to deploy an application on the Heroku. That's why I'm creating the Streamlit Heroku demo Git repository. We can select either public or private, any option is okay. And here we are selecting the git ignore file for Python and adding the readme.md. I'm not selecting any licensing aspect here. We have just created the basic one. Now let's clone this project in our local. For that we just copy the URL. Now we can say git clone and the URL I will paste, and this will download the main branch which we just created. Okay, now this is the main branch where we created for our development purpose, which just contains the only two files currently, that is .gitignore and as well as the readme.md. So now let's import the same project to our PyCharm. We know that how does the PyCharm works, that you can see the our session 1, and now we need to set the interpreter for this one. Okay, so currently I am using Python 3.9, and you can see the .gitignore and readme.md file. Okay, now let's add the requirement.txt where we define the all the basic requirement for this application demo. The one is Streamlit. The latest one version only I am using, that is 1.15.0. Okay, once it is done, let's install it using pip command. Pip install -r requirement.txt. The Streamlit installation, as you know, that it will take some minutes, like 1 or 2 minutes. During that time, we can add the required necessary files for our project. Okay. For now, I created a .streamlit folder and config.toml file inside it, which is a standard way of applying the customized themes and customized configuration for the Streamlit application, where we can add the theme section, server section, general section like that. For now, I just wanted to disable the cars under the server. I added it, and also I need to provide an email for this application. Though it's not mandatory both .streamlit and config.toml, it is just basic necessary information I need to pass, so I created this information. And as I am saying, this is not mandatory at all. It's an optional. javaindubai@gmail.com I created. Now let's add a main Python file, that is MainApp.py. In this we will write all the required code in the MainApp.py. Before that, I also need to add one more very important file for the Heroku deployment, that is prop file. Okay, whenever we do the deployment on Heroku, we need to specify what is the entry point for this application to be executed by the Heroku environments. Okay, like a Docker file, we created a prop file. We need to specify what kind of application it is, whether it is a web application, and what is the command to start this application after the build is success. That's why I given the web application, Streamlit, run, and main.app.py. Here one more very important thing is, even though we are passing -server.port, we need to give $port, because the Heroku by default will assign a port which is available to this application. That's why the $port is exposed. Okay, now let's import the Streamlit in the main app.py and set header and as well as the subheader. We can also write a line between the header and subheader. For that, once we imported Streamlit, the below we can see that the installation is also almost completed. They successfully installed all the required libraries. Now st.title is the function which we use, title function here, to write the header. It is just like a welcome to Heroku deployment demo application. Okay, and for that, for adding the new line, we know that st.markdown, we can pass 4 to 5 dashes, so that it adds a line below the title of this application. And then let's also add the subheader, st.subheader. It is something like we are asking the question, how can we deploy the Streamlit application on Heroku within few minutes, something like that. How do we deploy Streamlit application? Okay, once we have written that, see now in the blue we have violated all the required libraries as installed. Okay, so now let's run this application. Okay, we know that how do we run this application. Any Streamlit application we need to run using Streamlit run the script name. Here it is main.py. Here we can see that red arrow where we are writing the script, run main.py. Now -server.port, it's an optional. Even if you do not give it the default port, we can have any custom port using that -server.port. Now application will launch with the port 8080, so that when we launch this, it runs in our local. This is running in our my PC, my laptop, and we can see what is the output. Before we commit this code to the Git repository and before we deploy this onto the Heroku, we can see what is the output we are expected. Okay, so since we can see the whatever we have written, let's remove the demo because it is going to the second line, and also add the question mark also we need to add for the question. Okay, first let's remove this one. Yes, its server is already started. It has to reflect, and we need to always run this, so it is reflected. Now for the question, let's add the question mark. How do we apply this? And then we will commit this code as is to our Git repository. Okay, so this is the output initially we are expecting whenever we deploy this application onto the Git repository. Now let's check the status, how many files we added or changed. There are multiple files we added, new files. Now let's commit this git commit -am. So here we pass the, it's a basic information. So this project, okay, once we committed this one, demo project, we will push this code to the Git repository. Whatever we are seeing so far, it is Git only. Okay. Once we committed and pushed changes to the repository, open the project location, open the command prompt. Now we need to use the Heroku client commands to log into the Heroku environment. For example, to log into the Heroku, we need to type Heroku space login, and then that takes us to the browser page, okay, where we have to give our credential and log into the Heroku, so that we come back to the environment here. Okay, so let's log in. So login it is asking after I press the Heroku login. So logged in successful because I am already logged into the whenever I was creating the account. So now let's go back to the command line and execute few of the commands because it's already we committed latest code to the git. You can see that I have logged in streamlit@gmail.com, using which we have created the account initially, and now we can also create the application for this uh, learnjava@gmail.com. If there are any apps, we are checking using Heroku space apps. There are no apps created. We have to create an application to deploy this. Okay. Now this is important because in the Heroku we can create applications, but each application is the paid one. That's why whatever the plan we have taken, based on that we need to create. So here I have taken the basic plan where I can create a single application. So let's create the Streamlit Heroku, the demo app, but this is already exit. So let's check whether the application is exist or not using the command Heroku space apps. So once it is checked, it is exist confirmed. Now let's rename, or we'll create another application with a different name. So we will say that the Heroku space create space the Streamlit -python, the demo application we can create. Once it is created, we can see that the domain URLs are created already. We can launch this application using this URL. Before that, let's deploy our application which we have just pushed to the git. Okay, so here the important thing is we can push the git repository from our git repo to the Heroku main using git space push space Heroku space the branch name is main. When we do that one, it will start building the project which we have specified in the beginning itself whenever we are creating this application as Python. Also the proc file is given. Okay, so it installed all the required dependencies. Here it is installing the Streamlit. Once the Streamlit is installed, it will deploy. The deployment command is given already in the proc file, and then it gives us the URL which we can take it and launch. Okay, let's take the, once it is deployed, let's take the URL and go to the browser and launch this application. Currently, okay, deployment is completed, and now we can verify this our application is up and running on the Heroku or not. How do we do that? We already saw the domain URL, so we need to take the domain URL and check that. So for now, checking the domains. So got the URL. So this is the domain Streamlit Python. So take that URL and go to the browser, and we can launch and see whether our application content, that is the title, a line, and the subheader displaying or not. Okay. Okay, it's starting up. Yes. Oh wow, we successfully completed the deployment of our Streamlit application on Heroku. Now this URL is accessible to worldwide, and it will be running always, as we know that it's a cloud platform. It will be running as long as we stop it. Till that time it will be running. Now let's add another changes to it and see how the changes can be redeployed it. I just taken the logo of our channel, and I'm importing the PIL image, like from PIL library import image and create the image object, read the image content like image.open fast the logo.png file. So once this image object is created, I will set in two places. One is for the page icon, and the other one is as a Streamlit image. Set page config, and here I pass the page icon. Okay, so I can pass the same image, as well as I will set the same thing with st.image and pass the image object so that it will display image. Once the changes are made in the Git in our local, we must push to the Git repository before we push to the Heroku. Okay, so let's commit these changes. Okay, so you can see one file is modified, and I will just commit it. Just say that git add, then the git commit -m, and the message we can give. So the next changes, and then we can use the command git push. Okay, once the git push is executed, the changes are committed to the git repository. After that, we can come back and deploy this application onto the Heroku. What is the command to deploy this application on Heroku? That is git space push space Heroku space the branch name is main. Okay, so now that will deploy the changes onto the Heroku. Okay, now we are able to refresh the page and able to see the new output. So we added the logo, we can see that, and we also updated the page icon, we can see in the above as well. So this is how we have deployed our Streamlit application quickly on the Heroku web, the cloud platform. And now any changes we made, just check into the Git, and we are able to push to the Heroku. And there is no much configuration. The important thing is prop file, check into the Git. Thank you for watching, and hope you are able to understand the little. Please share your valuable feedback and suggestions for the next video. Thank you.